Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Hello and welcome to Race to Power. I'm Ananya Datta. Let's start talking politics. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours in Islamabad. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's protests have fizzled out, but leaders insist that the movement is very much on. We read between the uncertainty. Also over in Bangladesh, there has been more good news for Khalida Zia. An arch-rival of Sheikh Hasina has been acquitted in another legal case. We ask if she is preparing for the next general election. Now, it seems that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's final call has gone unanswered. Imran Khan's party, whose supporters and workers rallied through Islamabad on Monday, have returned without freeing their leader from behind bars. These are the latest images we are receiving from D Chowk, where containers are being removed for the smooth flow of traffic in the area. In a statement posted on social media, the PTI said that they were calling off the protests for the time being in view of the government's brutality. The party claimed armed security forces launched a violent assault on peaceful PTI protesters, firing live rounds with the intent to kill as many people as possible. Labeling itself as the guardian of the people of Pakistan, the party said they cannot allow dead bodies of citizens piling up on the streets. However, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Ali Amin Gandapur has said that the PTI protest is still on and that only party founder Imran Khan has the authority to call it off. Motorways inside Islamabad, as well as those coming in from Lahore, Sialkot and other areas, have been reopened. The Commissioner has ordered clean-up operations post the protests. Schools will reopen from Thursday, that's tomorrow. Thousands of supporters of former Prime Minister Imran Khan had arrived at D Chowk on Monday night amid intense tear gas shelling and use of rubber bullets by security forces, even as the government invoked Article 245 of the Constitution, which allows the deployment of army to help establish peace. Authorities had earlier put the capital on a lockdown, but Monday witnessed violent clashes between protesters and security personnel. 3 PTI workers and 5 security personnel even lost their lives during these latest round of clashes. Now, in an exclusive interview to WION's Anas Malik, Pakistan's information minister called the PTI protests illegal. The minister further said that his government will focus on progress of Pakistan. Listen in.
A violent and illegal protest because the Islamabad High Court had not allowed them to carry out this protest here. And they ran last night. They wanted to wreak havoc with this city. It wasn't allowed, and I think they ran like anything, and they are now taking refuge behind the fact that there was some kind of operation. It's unfortunate that their party is divided. They have a lot of division amongst themselves, and that has cost them because most of the leadership was not here. And now they have come up with a false rhetoric and false rumors that there was straight firing and civilians have died. You have seen they've ransacked the offices of 3 TV channels. They've tortured journalists. They've killed security personnel. And we've exercised extreme restraint. So I think way forward is that they should cater for their province. They should look after Kuram, the areas where there's law and order situation, and focus on health and education of the people.
Now, Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik gets us the latest from Islamabad.
I'm standing at the D Chowk where seemingly it won't be wrong to say that the PTI protest has ended, and what you see behind me, the fact that the containers are now being moved, is an indication on the part of the government's confidence that they believe that there will be no more protest going forward. Now the PTI has said that their sit-in will continue. And it can also continue without workers. This was stated by Ali Amin Khan Gandapur, the Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, who left or rather abandoned protesters alongside Bushra Bibi, the wife of Imran Khan, last night, and left a lot of workers quite angered by their call and by their decision. With that being said, at least 8 people are confirmed killed. That includes 3 PTI protesters and 5 security personnel in clashes between security personnel and the protesters who were being barred from reaching this point where I am. Now, it is also pertinent to mention the fact that while Imran Khan had said and called on for the protests to continue, PTI in an early morning statement said that they are calling off the protest or postponing it temporarily, quote unquote, because of the state brutality. That's what the PTI claim. But what you see behind me is an indication on the part of the government's confidence that there will be no more protests going forward. Over 950 people have been arrested, let alone yesterday during these violent clashes. Over 600 people have been arrested by the Islamabad police for being part of this illegal protest, as the government says it. Anas Malik in Islamabad, Pakistan, for WION World is One.
The Battle of the Begums. It's a term often referred to the decades-old political rivalry in Bangladesh between Sheikh Hasina and Khaleda Zia. With Hasina out of the country for about 114 days, Zia seems to be winning the battle as of now. A High Court has handed the Bangladesh Nationalist Party chief an acquittal. Zia was embroiled in a 2018 corruption case that came with a 7-year prison sentence. But a bench of justices overturned the decision based on an appeal. The earlier conviction was in relation to the Zia Charitable Trust. It was said that Zia and 3 others abused power to raise funds for the trust from unknown sources. Zia was under house arrest until the fall of Hasina's government. On August 6th, she was completely freed after the Bangladeshi president issued an order. On the other hand, the future is looking grim for the ousted Prime Minister Hasina. A criminal case has been filed at the International Criminal Court against her and 69 others for allegedly committing crimes against humanity during this year's mass uprising. And that's just the start of her legal woes. There are more than 100 cases lodged against Hasina, who sits in neighboring India. These cases encompass a range of serious charges, including murder, inciting riots, and abduction. Now, about 24 hours back, the President-elect Donald Trump made a startling revelation about tariffs against China, Mexico and Canada. Markets of these top 3 trade partners took a jolt throughout the day. Asian stock markets experienced a broad decline as investors were nervous about an escalating trade war. While Japan's Nikkei index fell sharply, driven by a weakening auto sector, other markets such as Taiwan and South Korea also faced losses. However, mainland China and Hong Kong saw modest gains, offering some contrast to the broader regional retreat. In currency markets, the US dollar showed mixed results. The yen strengthened against the dollar in early deals, while it extended its gains as investors sought safer assets. Meanwhile, the Mexican peso and the Canadian loonie continued to suffer from Trump's tariff threats, with both currencies hitting multi-year lows. Let's talk about Namibia now. The people are out to cast their vote for presidential and parliamentary elections. Results are expected by Saturday for this double mandate. There are 15 candidates in the running for president and 1.4 million registered voters in the southern African country. The SWAPO party has ruled the country for about 34 long years, and ever since it gained independence from apartheid South Africa in 1990. And for the first time, it seems that Namibia may get its first female president, who is also currently the vice president. Nitombo Nandi has the results of special early voting among citizens overseas and the armed forces on her side. But it remains to be seen if the primary voting today will slant in her favor.
Through voting, you are making your voice to be heard, that will have an impact for the next 5 years in your life and in the life of every Namibian and any person who's visiting this country. So please come out in your numbers and cast your votes.
This election, several issues are on the ballot, high unemployment rates being a key concern. Issues affecting women, including reproductive rights, equal pay and healthcare, are also critical.
So we are all here today because we want our voices to be heard. We want to exercise our democratic rights. So we can come later on with complaints regarding news politics, regarding national politics if we don't vote today. So we have to vote today for the change that we want to see tomorrow.
Now, correspondent Kalde Nongmu has a report on this.
Namibia's election is shaping up to be one of the most fiercely contested in its history. And for the very first time, it could lead to a second round of voting. Namibia's ruling party, SWAPO's parliamentary majority is under threat if dissatisfied young people turn out in big numbers amid a wave of anti-incumbent sentiment globally. SWAPO has governed since leading it to independence from South Africa in 1990. Its presidential candidate, Vice President Nitombo Nandi, would be the country's first female leader if she wins. Political analysts have predicted SWAPO may face the same fate as South Africa, where ANC lost its majority for the first time in its May elections, and Botswana, where the party that had ruled since 1966 was beaten. Polls opened at 7 a.m. local time today, but some voters had been in the queue since the night before. This is Kalde Nongmu from Johannesburg, South Africa, for WION World is One.
Now, it's an important day in court for France's far-right leader, Marine Le Pen. The defense lawyers have made their closing arguments today, but it might be days before a verdict. The National Rally leader arrived in court earlier today for the high-stakes embezzlement trial. The prosecutors have demanded a 2-year prison sentence and 5-year period of ineligibility to run for office. Le Pen and 25 National Rally Party officials stand accused of misappropriating funds meant for European Union parliamentary aids. The money was allegedly used to pay party staffers instead, thus violating the 27 nation bloc's regulations. As per the prosecutors, the funds were embezzled during a 12-year period between 2004 and 2016. Le Pen and the others accused have denied any wrongdoings, and should the court find Le Pen guilty and bar her from holding office, the verdict could derail the National Rally leader's plans to contest for presidential elections. Now, as we told you, this is a high-stakes court case that is being put against the National Rally Party leader Marine Le Pen of France, and Le Pen and others accused have denied any wrongdoing in the case, which is to do with embezzlement of funds, which were to do with the EU funds, but then they were used to pay off staffers. That is the accusation that has been leveled against Marine Le Pen, the leader, as well as her aides. Should the court find Le Pen guilty and bar her from holding office, this is something we are tracking very, very closely. Now, Ross Cullen is joining on this broadcast from Paris to get us the latest. Ross, what is it you're hearing? Ross, can you hear us? All right, there seems to be some issue in connecting with Ross. Let's move on then. In India, Maharashtra still remains a battleground days after elections ended, and the winning Mahayuti alliance led by the BJP is yet to finalize who the state's chief minister will be. Earlier in the evening, Shiv Sena leader and Maharashtra's caretaker chief minister Eknath Shinde addressed the media, confirming that a high-level meeting will be held with Union Minister Amit Shah to discuss the top job.
मैंने अमित भाई जी को भी फोन किया, मोदी जी को भी फोन किया। सरकार बनाने में हमारी तरफ से कोई भी रुकावट, कोई भी अड़चन, कोई भी कुछ भी किसी भी तरह का अड़ंगा नहीं है। आप बेशक आप निर्णय ले लो, उस निर्णय की तामील हो जाएगी, निर्णय की अमल हो जाएगी। और मैं आज आप सबको कहता हूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता जो निर्णय लेंगे मुख्यमंत्री पद के बारे में, जो उनका कैंडिडेट होगा, उसको हमारा शिवसेना का पूरी तरह समर्थन है, पूरी तरह हमारा पाटिंबा उनको है। ये आपको बताने के लिए मैंने आज सबको बुलाया।
Leaders of the Shiv Sena reportedly met with Home Minister Amit Shah in the parliament to discuss government formation in Maharashtra. The party, a key ally of the BJP under the Mahayuti banner, has said that it stands by the final decision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Maharashtra went to polls on November 20th with two main alliances on the political battlefield. BJP-led Mahayuti swept the mandate, defeating the Congress-led MVA alliance by a significant margin. The Mahayuti won 235 of the 288 seats. Results were announced on November 23rd, but 4 days on, there is still no clarity on who will become Maharashtra's next chief minister. Meanwhile, the opposition alliance, Mahavikas Aghadi, has yet again questioned the accuracy of electronic voting machines, or the EVMs as they are called, after its election defeat in Maharashtra. The three parties which blamed each other for the loss are planning to approach the court and demand a return to ballot papers. This despite the Supreme Court ruling in favour of the EVMs just this April, just ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Back then, the top court had pointed out that faulty EVMs are not flagged in cases when opposition won an election. Now, principal correspondent Disha Shah is joining us from Mumbai on the phone line. Disha, what is the latest you're hearing?
Well, absolutely. Suspense continues over the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra, a post for which Shiv Sena's Eknath Shinde and the BJP's Devendra Fadnavis are the top contenders. And what we understand, tomorrow is going to be a significant day because a final decision will be made after tomorrow's discussion with the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. And the Mahayuti leaders are of the opinion that whatever is the final word coming in by the Home Minister as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be accepted by all the parties in Mahayuti in concern. So all the important leaders, including Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis, will be in Delhi tomorrow, and all discussions will take place on the formation of the government with who is going to be the chief minister. And there are also sources doing the rounds that there will be two deputy chief ministers, like how the state had for the last 3 years. So final decision will be made, and what we understand that all the leaders within the Mahayuti are also of the opinion that there was never any difference of opinions, and they all have made decisions by sitting together, be it regarding the chief minister's post, and collectively a decision will be taken tomorrow. So we will definitely have to wait and watch as to what significant decision and when the announcement will take place, and then followed by the oath-taking ceremony.
All right, Disha, thank you so much for all those updates from Mumbai. Let's focus now. Days after the first round of presidential elections, Romania is divided over the results that put a far-right leader on top. People are now gearing up for a presidential runoff they did not expect. Ahead of the runoff, far-right leader Calin Georgescu has slammed the false narrative against him, with opposition and several Romanians accusing him of being pro-Russia. The presidential candidate has said that he never talked about leaving NATO and has always been pro-European.
I am pro-European. We have been in Europe since the beginning of the world. We are here with our neighbors, with our country. We have worked in all the important international systems and we cannot renounce them. But we can impose our point of view to have our attitude. We cannot sit on our knees before anyone except before God.
Georgescu has previously drawn criticism for praising Romania's fascist politicians from the 1930s and calling them national heroes. The far-right leader has also said that Romania should engage and not challenge Russia. Georgescu faces Elena Lasconi in the runoff election. Should Lasconi win, she will become Romania's first female president. As the political battle heats up, Romania's officials will hold a meeting on Thursday to discuss possible cyber risks to elections. The decision comes after Romanians were left shocked with the lead given to Calin Georgescu in the polls held on Sunday. Now, chaotic scenes are unfolding in the Balkan country of Albania. There is a war on corruption, but the government and the opposition are blaming each other. The anger now has reached the streets. Days after issuing a threat against Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., country's Vice President Sara Duterte walked back on her comments. She further denied she was plotting to kill Marcos. The Vice President's clarification comes after the country's Justice Department accused her of masterminding a plot to assassinate the president and demanded she appear at a formal inquiry. Sara Duterte, the daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, has said that her previous comments only reflected worry with her one-time ally. She also said that the government's plot accusations amounted to farce, and the statement of hers was taken out of context.
Tossing the word assassin into this issue makes things even more terrifying for our country, and especially because I never used that term during my recent consternation against the Marcos administration's failure to serve the Filipinos while it masterfully persecutes political enemies.
Marcos ran with Duterte as his vice presidential running mate in the May 2022 elections. Both won with landslide victories on a campaign call of national unity. The two leaders and their camps, however, had a bitter fallout over key differences. Let's now take a look at some other stories coming in from politics and elections. European Union chief gets a thumping majority by the lawmakers at the European Parliament on Wednesday as they endorse the new European Commission headed by Ursula von der Leyen for a second term. 370 lawmakers voted for the new European Union executive team, clearing the way for it to take office on December 1st.
I will now.
In South Africa, a case was brought to the country's top court by the opposition party, Economic Freedom Fighters, in order to revive impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa over the scandal dubbed Farmgate. According to a revelation made by a former intelligence officer to the police, the scandal is about the alleged theft of millions of dollars hidden in furniture on Ramaphosa's game farm. In late 2022, lawmakers from Ramaphosa's African National Congress, also known as the ANC, voted to reject the report that found evidence of the South African president's misconduct in the incident. As ANC had a majority in the National Assembly that time, the first hearing of the case began on Tuesday this week. With an aim to bolster its grip on power, Georgia's ruling party nominated far-right politician, a former football star, Mikhail Kavelashvili, for the post of the president. And since the Georgian Dream Party won a new majority in disputed parliamentary elections on October 26th, the country has been engulfed in an unrest. Opposition lawmakers have boycotted the new parliament, claiming the poll was manipulated. Over in India, the country's East Indian state of Jharkhand, former Chief Minister Hemant Soren will take oath for the second time on November 28th. The JMM-led alliance retained power in Jharkhand, where assembly polls were conducted in two phases on November 13th as well as November 20th. And with that, we're wrapping up this edition of Race to Power. Thanks for watching with me, Ananya Datta. Goodbye.
Special business talk show where we bring forth the stories of business leaders.
From breakthrough technologies to visionary leadership, we will unlock the trends, the tactics, and dive into the minds of the industry's most influential leaders.
WION brings you this special series to uncover what drives them in a candid talk show, WION Business Masters.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
Well, thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. My name is Mohammed Saleh, and let's start this broadcast by taking a quick look as to what is making headlines at this hour. The family members of the hostages who are currently in the custody of Hamas say that the Israel-Lebanon ceasefire is a missed opportunity as their loved ones are still in the custody of Hamas.